Hey everybody, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good day, good whenever you are watching this. If you're breathing, it's good. Let's talk about that. Let's expand on breathing. Let's talk about property, intellectual property, the types of intellectual property. There are 4 different types, so let's talk about them. Now, what is intellectual property? This would be something that came from you, something that in your mind you created. There are different types of intellectual property. Now, you may have also heard before about the lizards and the reptilians and how they are unable to create things such as art. They can't create, they could only mimic. So they could take our ideas, but they can't actually make them themselves. They do not have that creative, artistic ability within their mind. So what they do is they come and they try to take it from who? From us. There are 4 types of intellectual properties. Now, with them, you have copyrights, you have patents, you have trademarks, and you have trade secrets. Now, basically, an overview of what an intellectual property would consist of is something that comes from your mind, something that you thought up yourself, an idea, an invention, an art, anything, clothing, anything. So what happens, and you may have heard this before, with the reptilians. The reptilians do not have the ability to create art. See, they only have the option of taking people's creative ideas once they've been given to them, but they can't create them themselves. See, us here, we can do that. We are human beings with amazing souls, and we're free thinkers, and we have our own intellectual property, just like we have control of our own bodies because we're sovereign and because of natural law. So that's another subject for another time. But for now, I just wanted to kind of touch on intellectual properties. I have notes, so if you see me glance down, I apologize. I don't remember everything off the top of my head. It's been a long time, over 20 years, since I've even reviewed this information. So you have copyrights. Now, copyrights give you, as the original creator, the right to retain that product, brand, or whatever under you, and no other entity can take it from you. They actually have to get your permission to use it. So with that, it could be anything from artwork, pictures, creative ideas, whatever, but people have to get your permission to recreate or duplicate any parts of that. Now, there is the little bit where there's a little stipulation for fair use. Now, they are allowed to use the clips if it's for educational purposes, parody, news articles, and so forth, but it's limited use on that. Another type of intellectual property would be a patent. Now, with a patent, that's for an invention. It's where the grant of the property for the invention is given over to the inventor, the creator. You then have 20 years from the time you've filed for your patent to start the process and get it going. So this also covers anyone who invents or discovers any new or useful processes. So basically, any improvements thereof. So these can also be registered in foreign countries to help keep the international competitors from finding out what your company's doing. Interesting. Another intellectual property would be a trademark. Now, a trademark would be like a word, a phrase, a design, or a symbol. Something that, or like a combination of any of those. Now, this is something that's an identifier. It basically identifies your product or your label, your trademark. And the last one would be trade secrets. Now, trade secrets can be leaked through corporate or industrial espionage, through breach of contract. It's generally any type of confidential corporate information which gives another business a competitive advantage or edge over another company. So, those are just a few types of intellectual property facts, just to kind of touch and skim on the surface. So that's a brief overview on types of intellectual property. Now, of course, do your research, look into it. There's a lot of great stuff out there, a lot of people who go really into detail. I just kind of skim the surface of things because I'm still learning myself and then remembering a lot of old stuff as well. But thought I'd share. I like to share this because there are so many artists out there that have so many great talents. A lot of music, a lot of television, production, books, movies. I know a lot of great entertainers. I would love to see you retain your own rights and royalties. Keep those to yourself versus giving them away to big corporations. Why invest in these big corporate companies who aren't investing in you when you could use your own intellectual property and invest in yourself? You know, I'd rather see you grow versus seeing a corporation grow.